How's it going today? My name's Andre. I'll be working with you.
Gotcha.
So first, a couple things. What is your name?
Harrison. Ames.
Harrison Ames. And how do you spell that?
Which one? First.
Ames.
AMES.
Okay, cool. And then age?
21.
21. And then date of birth?
1704.
1704. All right. So what brings you in today, Harrison? Any goals of any sort?
Yeah. So I had surgery done on my wrist a couple months ago, probably like 3 or 4 months ago. After that, I went to PT to try to help it. I'm a tennis player, so I have a majority of my flexibility and range of motion,
Okay.
but I just can't, my front hand is fine, it's the backhand that's really what's affected right now. I can't really get to where it used to be.
As in, like, producing enough power for the backhand?
Yeah, honestly, it's not there anymore.
It's not there? Okay. All right. And then currently, are you doing anything to like fix it or stretching by any chance? Maybe like a little exercises?
I've been trying to do like a couple exercises daily here and there just to like try to fix my flexibility and range of motion, but I don't know. I really don't think it's helping that much.
Gotcha. Did your PT send you home with any exercises after you were done?
A couple band work,
Okay.
couple like I guess like tennis related stuff, like he had me with like a little like stress ball like squeeze to get I guess the tension back, I guess,
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
fingers with the gripping with the club.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it?
Hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, so right now, are you feeling any sort of like pain, maybe weakness in your hand or wrist?
I would say for the front hand is fine,
Okay.
but the back hand is just a little stiff. That's
A
why
little
I
stiff?
can't generate
Okay.
that much power.
Gotcha. And then, is there do you have any like chronic conditions by any chance?
I don't think so, no.
No? Okay, gotcha. Like a heart attack, maybe blood
No.
clots? No?
No,
None of that
definitely
stuff?
not,
Gotcha. All right. No diabetes, no
No.
cancer? Cool. All right. And then we already went over, you just want to get back into tennis,
Mm-hmm.
just focusing straight on that backhand.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Do you also want to focus a little bit on your front hand as well?
Yeah, I could probably use some work as well.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. And then with the form that you filled out earlier, did you circle any of them?
No.
No. Okay. Cool. And then do you smoke? Do you drink?
No.
None of those. Okay. Are there any like cultural beliefs that you might be that might affect like our scheduling by any chance? Maybe like you have events like throughout the week or anything, or no, nothing. Okay, sounds good. And then so after all of this PT, like after the surgery, how ready do you feel to be getting back into like the groove of things and be working out fully to be going back to tennis?
I feel fine, yeah.
Yeah?
I want to get back into it probably as soon as possible.
Okay. All right, so we'll get you started on some assessments to try and figure out like what's the issue that's going on, and then we'll just go from there.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right. So for this first video, during the interview, I believe that the assessment form that I created covered pretty much everything that I needed in order to get the client's history. The main thing that I was having an issue with was having enough space to write stuff down. That's probably going to be the next thing that I'm going to have to focus on for the next interview. And then next, a couple aspects / skills that I was most satisfied with was that I was able to go through it chronologically. Next one would be I did have very open-ended questions at the beginning. And then the next one, I did feel I felt less nervous about it as I was thinking about. And then the next 3 skills or aspects that I was least satisfied with, I didn't ask what the surgery was for at the beginning, which is probably a big part. And then I also didn't ask like how the injury happened. Next, I might have gone a little too fast. I should have slowed down and collect my thoughts more. I feel like my mind was all over the place during that interview. And then the next aspect / skill would be lots of ums and likes during the interview. I mean, it's kind of hard. I do have a stutter, so I say those things to try to help me stop stuttering, but there's other things that I could do as well. And then my thought through the 6 line of thoughts, for psychosocial, the client did seem to be motivated. I believe that he was there for a reason, of course, and that he would have gone through a full program. So the assessments, I got the history, the RLS screening, all that stuff. And then after that, I would do like range of motion, flexibility, and strength for his wrist. And then the diagnosis, just based off of the hypothesis that I would come up with, and then assessing those, I would give him a diagnosis. Prognosis, I believe, would be good, since he did previously go to PT for it. And then the intervention as well, just based off of the findings that I get from the assessments. And then the outcome, I believe that we would be able to achieve the client's goals. How's it going today? My name's Andre. I'll be working with you. First, a couple questions. What is your name?
Nick Villanucci.
All right. And then age?
21.
21. And then what's your date of birth?
March 4, 2004.
March 4, 2004. All right, Nick. So what just brings you in today?
Well, I'm just coming off of a shoulder injury, so
Okay.
I'm just trying to get it back to 100% so I can get back to playing baseball.
Gotcha. Yeah. And then what specifically was the shoulder injury?
I dislocated it.
Dislocation. All right. And then, so after you dislocated, what were the next steps that you took?
Well, I mean, obviously I went to the hospital.
Okay.
There was no surgery or anything needed. It was kind of just I had my arm in a cast for a while, and then afterwards we did PT to just work on movement and stuff.
Gotcha. And then did the PT tell you what they were trying to focus on while you were over there?
Just trying to get my range of motion back.
Okay. And then, how do you feel coming out of PT?
I mean,
Did they say you did well? Is there some things to work on?
We did well.
Okay.
It's just obviously I just don't feel like it's at the same level as it used to be.
In regards to strength.
Just strength, I feel like there's slight mobility issues, but
Yeah.
Strength is really where I notice it.
Gotcha. Alright. And then, so after PT, did they tell you what to work on?
I mean, they just had me continue doing stretches and just at home band exercises that they had me doing. in
Okay.
there.
Gotcha. And then, are you taking any medications by any chance, maybe to deal with some pain that comes and goes?
Yeah.
No, nothing like that? Gotcha. Okay. And then, so right now, in this moment, what are you feeling with your shoulder?
I mean, it feels good. There's no problems. I mean, it kind of feels a little bit stiff, but
Yeah.
nothing crazy.
Gotcha. And then, what specific motions do you feel that stiffness in?
Kind of just when I raise my arm up.
Raise your arm. Gotcha. And then, so no pain or anything?
No.
Gotcha. Alright. And then, so besides your dislocation, is there anything else that I should be informed about, any chronic conditions by any chance? A heart attack that you might have had?
No.
No cancer, diabetes?
No.
No? Gotcha. Alright. And then, were you wanting to get back into baseball?
Yeah, I was hoping to.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And then besides baseball, is there any other activities that you do that your shoulder feels affected while doing it?
I mean, kind of when I'm doing overhead activities.
Okay.
Just I mean, obviously nothing basically just reaching for like the top shelf or
Gotcha. So like just like daily stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. And then so are you doing like any sort of exercise for it, like resistance training?
It's really just been like the PT exercises.
Gotcha. So you haven't tried to lift any weights above your head?
No.
No? Gotcha. Okay. All right. And then the form that you filled out earlier, I see that you didn't circle anything. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Gotcha. All right. And then, do you smoke?
No.
No drinking?
Mm-mm.
No? All right. And then how would you describe your diet?
I eat good.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Good nutrition, good meals.
Mhm.
Right. And then how about hydration?
Yeah,
That as
I
well?
stay hydrated.
Yeah. And then, so after all of this, do you feel like any fear or stress about your injury?
I mean, obviously it bothers me that it's not like how it was before.
Okay.
And I mean, you know, like the thought of like doing the overhead weights and stuff is kind of iffy on it. So
Mhm.
obviously I want to, you know, get back to that.
Okay. And then, how would you describe your sleep? Are you getting enough sleep?
Yeah, I get a decent night's sleep.
Feel nice and rested when you wake up?
Yeah.
Yeah? Gotcha. And then, so, in order to structure, like an exercise program, are there any other cultural beliefs that you may have that might affect the scheduling throughout the week?
No.
No? Nothing? Gotcha. And then, so after going through PT and just dealing with this injury, how ready would you feel, or how soon do you think you're able to start with this program?
I mean, as soon as possible.
As soon as possible?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then how would you say your motivation levels are? Like I see that you came in today, but like if I'm able, or like when I give you a program to go through, like are you able to stick to it for, yeah?
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to how it was.
Okay, cool. And then do you plan on like eventually just being able to do this stuff on your own?
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. So that's all the questions I have today. So the next steps, I would say we're just going to do a couple of assessments to assess the range of motion, the flexibility, and the strength of your shoulder as well. And then after that, we'll get to starting a program for you. All right. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
So for the next video, the second one, I did improve the assessment form by allowing me to write more by making more space on the paper, which helped. The next thing I'd probably focus on would be to make the ROS less amount of pages like in length. Not like take any like information away, but more like put more information on the page just so I don't have to keep on scrolling so much throughout the interview. A couple skills slash aspects that I was most satisfied with. This time I did take my time. I felt more comfortable, and I did ask more specific questions towards the end. And then I didn't have 3, I had 2. The next one was I went more in depth about the overall general health, talking about his sleep hygiene, his diet, his hydration, and all that stuff. The aspects and skills that I was least satisfied with, I'm still saying I don't know if I'll be able to work on that. I'm gonna try to. The next one, I still forgot to ask how it happened. I feel like that's a big thing that I'm just not remembering. I'm hoping that it improves through practice and that stuff. And then I also need to work on determining the readiness for activity. I kind of worded it a little weird. I'm still trying to like find a proper way of how to just determine that. Next, the 6th line of thoughts. So for psychosocial, he did mention that he was feeling kind of down due to the shoulder not being 100%. compared to his uninvolved shoulder. So that's a big thing to take into consideration. Um, the assessment, same thing, range of motion, flexibility, strength. I took his history, his ROS, all that stuff. Diagnosis is based off of the assessments that I get, or the findings from the assessments. Prognosis, I believe, would be good since he seems motivated. Um, he's had PT in the past as well, so we'll be able to build on top of that and hopefully achieve his goal. The intervention, training based off of the assessments. I'm going to be just informing him what we're doing, how we're doing it, and why. And then the outcome, I believe that we'll be able to achieve the client's goals as well. All right, my name's Andre, and I'll be working with you today. First, I have a few questions for you. What is your name?
Victoria
Victoria. Last name,
Mayo,
and then age
22,
and date of birth.
January 22nd, 2003.
Okay. And so what brings you in today, Victoria?
I want to regain the strength I once had in my ankle.
Your ankle. Gotcha. And then did you have any sort of injury with your ankle?
Yes, I fell in a parking garage from a pothole and I had to get a boot and then surgery and participate in physical therapy for 4 months.
Gotcha. Okay. And then what did your PT say when you were done with physical therapy?
My PT suggested that I continue the exercises at my own house to continue using the mobility of my ankle.
Okay, cool. Alright. So is that the only thing that you've been doing for your ankle? Has there been like any medication that you've been taking as well?
No, just the occasional ibuprofen for any pain I feel.
Okay. And then would you say that that pain is constant?
It's only when I've been on my ankle for um a couple hours.
Okay, gotcha. So right now, what are the current symptoms that you are feeling?
It just feels like I can't walk on my ankle for too long without needing to sit down or have it wrapped up.
Okay. Would you say that that's more weakness by any chance?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely the weakness.
Weakness, gotcha. And then, so is there any swelling, maybe stiffness in your ankle as well?
I'd say after I've been on it for a couple hours, there is.
Okay. Sure. So there's a cause for everything that's been happening.
Yes.
Okay. Next, I am going to just ask about your past medical history. So, are there any conditions, chronic conditions, maybe other injuries that you might have had, um, like along this ankle surgery?
No.
No? Gotcha. Okay. No diabetes, no heart attack, none of that stuff.
No.
Asthma, no cancer. No? Okay,
No.
cool. All right. And then, you mentioned that you work. Do you do anything else besides that throughout the day?
No, I just work full time.
Just work full time? Gotcha. And is that the only time that you feel your ankle feel weak?
Yes.
Okay. And then so you're just standing the whole entire day at work. Is there any sitting involved by any chance, or just standing?
There's only sitting involved when I'm on my breaks, but that's it.
Okay. Gotcha. Do you stand in one spot, or do you walk throughout a store maybe, or like an office?
I'm constantly walking around the store.
Okay. Constantly walking. Next, I see that you filled out a form earlier before you came in. I just wanted to double check and make sure that you circled none of them, correct?
Yes, I circle none.
Okay, cool. And do you smoke or drink by any chance?
I do not.
No? Okay. And then how would you describe your diet?
My diet is 3 meals a day, occasional fast food.
Okay. And then how about your hydration?
I drink water for the most part.
Okay. So you would say that you're getting the recommended amount of water each day?
Probably not the recommended, but enough.
Okay. So throughout all of this, with your injury, with surgery, PT, all that stuff, how have your stress levels been?
I only get stressed when I start to feel pain in my ankle, but besides that, I don't have a pretty stressful life or routine, I'd say.
Okay. Would you say that you might be a little scared to break your ankle again?
Yeah, there's definitely trauma from that.
Okay. And then how would you describe your sleep? Your sleep schedule, your quality of sleep?
I sleep pretty good. I don't have an issue with sleeping at all.
Okay. Gotcha. And then next, do you have any cultural beliefs? Maybe you have like events throughout the week that we might need to work the schedule around.
Yes, I attend church 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay. And then what days would that be?
Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Sundays.
Gotcha. And then for Tuesday and Wednesday, is that the full day?
No, it's just the night, but Wednesdays it's the full day.
Okay. Gotcha. And then my guess is on Sunday, it's just the
Yes, morning to afternoon.
morning to afternoon. Sure. So just last thing, would you say that you're ready to get back into the swing of things?
Yes, I am.
Are you how motivated are you feeling?
On a out of 10, I feel an 8.
An eight? Okay, gotcha. And would you say if I were to give you a program, would you stick to it?
Yes, I would.
Okay, gotcha. So that's all the questions that I have. Just a couple next steps. We're gonna do a couple assessments for you, work on your work on assessing your range of motion, your flexibility, and your strength in your ankle, and then we'll go from there with what we have to train.
Perfect. That sounds amazing.
All right. Well, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
So for this third and last video, I felt that the that my assessment form was structured in a way that I was able to get through all the things in an effective manner. Uh, Compared to the first video, I believe I was able to improve on my ability to ask the right questions and when to ask those questions. And then I also worked on not talking so fast and working on my breathing so I'm not stuttering as much. A couple aspects that I was most satisfied with was the questions that I asked were set in a way that I was able to get all the information that I needed. I took my time and slowed down when I needed to gather my thoughts. And then I also felt that I went through the 6 line of thoughts throughout the interview in my head pretty efficiently as well. The three aspects that I was the least satisfied with, I do have to work on being comfortable with doing this process. I feel like that just comes with the experience, whether it's I practice with my family members or my friends, just something of that sort. I also have a sense of I'm always missing something. So like when I'm going through the process, I always feel like, oh, I'm losing this, like I'm missing this, I'm missing that. And in reality, I don't think I am. I guess that's just something with not being as comfortable. And then I also do lose my train of thought sometimes where I have a question in the back of my mind that I want to ask. And then the client might say something and I just completely just lose the question that I was hoping to ask. And going through the 6 lines of thought. So for psychosocial, the patient or the client She was scared of breaking her ankle again. That is a fear that she has in the back of her mind. Might be a little stressed about it as well. Then assessments, I was going to focus solely on strength, but also some range of motion as well, since that was part of her goals. Diagnosis just based off of the assessments and the hypothesis that I come up with. And prognosis, I believe, would be good, that she'll be able to get back to where she wants to be, just because she's had many interventions, and I believe with this one she'll be able to go back to where she was. And then the interventions, I would educate her first about what we're doing, why and how, and then train/refer if I do find something. But if I don't, then I would train based off of the findings from the assessments, and then the outcome, we will be able to achieve her goals.